Week at some point, and I had to do a Zoom interview for it, and I was watching myself on the screen, but on a delay, and then a bunch of graphics happened at the same time, while I had to, off the cuff, be like, Philly Theater Week is a thing happening between April 1st and like, I was like, it was scary.
All right. There we go. Okay, so now we're not looking at the delayed stream, which would be weird.
Yes.
So, we're going to give everybody one more minute
to
fall in, but I'm just very excited. I'm retweeting your tweet about your great outfit.
Thank you very much.
I am very excited that we haven't had technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So far, unless someone watching
knock on wood
is having any problems, in which case,
tell us now.
Please.
This is your shot, your opportunity.
Yeah, but no one's saying anything.
Right.
So I guess we're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully. Again, also, it's on delay. I keep forgetting.
Right, yes. So like, their now might be different than our now.
Their now is probably very different than our now.
We're in 3008, and they're in 2000 and late. So,
Harsh. What? Why would you say that about our audience?
Hey. You're not in 2000 late. I'm sorry. This will be my accountability tour. I'm going to write a message on, notes and screenshot it and then, do that whole rigmarole.
I'm going to do some very interesting television right now, which is to tweet that it is happening.
Okay, great. Do you want me to narrate?
Yeah. Go ahead.
A yellow bird says, everything's coming through clear. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jadzia just typed.
Right. We are live! Exclamation points. And then...
It's great to have somebody telling the truth on Twitter. It's so cool to watch somebody tell the truth on Twitter.
It's a different experience.
It happens so infrequently.
I worry that it's going to, shock people with its rawness.
Yeah.
But,
the people aren't ready for the truth.
The people are not ready for the truth.
They can't handle it.
But we are ready for wings.
Yeah!
Let us start. So I'm Jadzia Axelrod, which you probably know if you're here, because this is to celebrate getting 3,000 followers on Twitter.
Everybody clap.
Everybody clap, please. Thank you for the applause. Warms my heart. And we're doing this has coincided, not uncoincidentally, with the release of Galaxy, the Prettiest Star.
Yay!
Which is a graphic novel that I wrote and Just Taylor did the amazing art for. That was published by DC Comics not even 2 weeks ago. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the response from everyone has just been incredible. My heart has been touched so often with people. Just what they've been saying about the book and how much they love it and how much it resonates with them. So I'm getting a little choked up now just thinking about the messages because it's been really amazing. So thank you all. And so because of that, we have questions that were submitted by the followers.
Questions
of my Twitter account strictly about Galaxy. We went all over the map last time we did this at 2,000. Yeah. But for 3,000, we're being focused. As much as you can be focused on this very silly graphic novel. It's also very serious, but it's also... there's a talking dog.
There's a talking dog.
So, whimsical.
Yes.
I shouldn't call it silly. It's whimsical. But also serious and heartfelt.
Yes.
It's a lot of things.
It is a lot of things. You can do more than one thing because you're so talented.
Well, thank you. See, this is why I have you here, to be my Sean Evans on this journey. We have 10 hot sauces in front of us. I have some wings that I just made. You have fake chicken pieces.
Fake, because I'm vegetarian.
And real. We did have a question on Twitter from Hannah Elliott to
Oh,
say
okay, yes.
how I made the wings. I used the let them marinate in baking powder overnight and then oven roast them, and then you get these really nice crispy skin on it.
Crazy.
So that's what I did. It was not fancy. I considered doing something fancy, but no.
No.
It didn't happen.
No. Ain't got it.
I thought it was more important to be here
and present in the moment.
So let's go ahead and start.
Yeah.
Because we got folks watching and they want to hear me just babble.
Oh, also my name is CJ Higgins.
Oh yeah, we didn't even introduce CJ. Oh my
just
gosh!
some fucking guy who showed up and took
This is
questions.
TikTok superstar CJ Higgins.
Yes, hello, hi.
Also Philadelphia theater fixture.
Yeah, it would appear so in some ways. But yes,
you are now a professional theater fixture.
It's true. It's true. I act despite what my current months of unemployment would tell you.
Okay. We are still in a pandemic.
I'm castable. You can find me at cjhigginstheater.com to know all the cool skills I have. Great. But let's talk about you.
Let's talk about me. Yeah, yes. This is about me. CJ's amazing, but this is my day.
Yes, no, this is about you. Do we want to...
Yeah, let's start. So the first sauce is the Seed Ranch Umami Everyday Sauce. This sauce has no spice content whatsoever, which is why it's at number 1.
Mm-hmm. I gotta pick which of my pieces. Come on. Oh. I did a great job back there. All right. Cheers. Delicious stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. There's no spice.
Mm-hmm. As you munch, Percy BVTHS asks, I want to know how this idea came to you and what inspired you to write it.
A nice baseline question.
Yeah, no, just off the bat.
Right, so the inspiration actually came because DC asked me to pitch them some books. It was very much a right place, right time kind of thing. The Michelle Wells, who was the editor of the YA line for DC, contacted my agent and was like, hey, we are looking for people who can write young adult stuff, but who are also familiar with our vast cast of characters and have a different point of view on them. And he said, well, I got the girl for you.
Great news.
So, as much as I refer to Galaxy as my dream project, and it is absolutely the type of comic that I've been dreaming of making since I was very small. The story itself came from when I was thinking about pitches. And I pitched a lot of basic ones, like you got to try to do a Superman one. I pitched one about cosplayers in the DC universe because that was an interesting idea. I thought people, if they were like cosplaying real people, how that would change things.
Yeah.
And I pitched one about a teen Lex Luthor taking over a boarding school.
Good.
Yeah, all the stuff that, like, this is all good.
I want to read all of these.
Yeah,
honestly.
well, maybe they'll see the light of day. Probably not the Superman one, but who knows? Right. Sorry.
So you pitched them all those different
I pitched
ideas.
them all those ideas, and then at the bottom...
Your mama's really getting to you, huh?
Yeah, the mommy sauce. No, I was, like, thinking about the Superman pitch and how I'm not going to write it. But the Superman pitch was a lot about Pa Kent dying. Like, it was a whole kind of study about Superman reacting to the death of Pa Kent and what that means. Mm-hmm. And, like, at the time when I pitched it, I absolutely wanted to write that. And now I'm like, I don't know if that's something I want to do.
Times change.
Yeah. So, like, I probably will not. I would love to tell... I have Superman stories, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But, like, that one is probably never going to see the light of day. I would like to do the Lex Luthor one at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
But the last one was a pitch of what became Galaxy. It was 2 sentences, and it's the hook. It's like there's an alien princess in exile who is hiding out on Earth, disguised as a human boy, and falls in love with a new girl in town. and decides to be herself. Like, that's all it was. It didn't really have a character attached. They told me to do recognizable characters, and DC has trans characters. None of them are quite like this in this scenario, and none of them are really like the marquee characters, which is they told me to do because I did ask them, and I was like, "Here, I have a Renee Montoya idea," and they were like, "Don't do a Renee Montoya. I'll tell you right now."
Okay,
like, that's fair. That's fair.
Fine.
Thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
I would like to write Renee Montoya at one point, but maybe I shouldn't. Also, like, they should probably get a lesbian of Latin descent to do Renee
Fair
Montoya.
enough.
It's not necessarily my story to tell, which may have been what they were saying. Also, who knows? And to say keep it to the marquee characters was a nice way of saying white girl don't write Renee Montoya.
Fair.
Which I accept.
Yeah.
I accept.
No, absolutely.
Anyway, the trans pitch was the one they loved the most, and they wanted to do it, and they wanted to do it as an original character. And so then I had the responsibility to flesh out this very small idea that I had come up with, just because I wanted to pitch them a trans character and a trans story, and I thought of one that would fit within the DC universe and kind of be a commentary a bit on Superman. Which it is. So, yeah, so the story then had me, like, fleshing everything out. I also had to flesh out the backstory of Taylor's race, Siandi, and their planet, because they wanted to make sure that there was nothing like it also already in the DCU, because it all had to be new. That was the thing. If this was going to be a new character, it all had to be new.
Mm-hmm.
And it all had to be noticeably different from everything else. So that was a process. And then,
absolutely.
And then coming up with the story. I will say the story was very easy to write. Like, I have never written anything this easy. Like, it just came... part of it was I did an extremely detailed outline. Mm-hmm. So, writers, take note. Extremely detailed outlines are the way to go. But the other part of it was that it was just like a story that needed to be told. And I was happy to tell it. And now it is real, that you can buy in stores.
Yeah.
So that's how that came about. Mm-hmm. I'd love to say this is like fanfic that I've had in my heart since high school or something, but it's not. It was something that the situation called for a very particular type of story, and I provided with it, and I love it. And I do love these characters so much. And everyone's excitement about the book has reignited my excitement, because it's been years since I finished the script. I just want to point that out. Like, making a graphic novel takes a long time when you don't have a pandemic. Mm-hmm. And so I finished the script years ago. I've been working on other stuff, and then to have this come back has been just remarkable, and I've been very excited. Yeah. I do love these characters a lot.
Yeah, as somebody who's been watching, like, the delays happen, I'm, like, so glad that, like, now I can actually, like, hold it and read it. I'm like, it happened, it all happened.
You've been having to listen to me talk about this for too long.
Having to is a really strong vocabulary.
Well, alright, fair.
Also, Jeff Stormer says, those wings have an amazing crunch to them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, it's the baking powder on the skin. It does amazing work.
Beautiful. Shall we dig into another one?
We should. So we have a special treat here for CJ and me, not for you guys.
Yeah, no, you can just watch.
So this is my father's barbecue sauce recipe. And I thought this was lost to time. I thought he took it to the grave with him. But as it turns out, my aunt actually had the recipe, and she sent me a photograph of the yellowed index card on which he wrote it.
Brilliant.
So this is his barbecue sauce. The secret ingredient is strong black coffee and molasses. Yeah.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And like a whole bottle of Worcestershire sauce. I was not prepared.
It's a lot of Worcestershire.
Yeah, but it's worth it.
I'm excited. This is a fine barbecue sauce.
Not. Tastes like childhood.
Well, while you reminisce on your childhood, Carrion asks, I'd like to know if The Prettiest Star is in reference to the Bowie ballad and what made you choose it, if so. And Spider Emblem asked a similar question with, was there any particular reason for the use of Bowie and his songs?
Yes. To both questions.
Correct.
The first one, yes, it is a reference to the Bowie song. Bowie music plays I wouldn't say an important role, but a noticeable role. Someone's asking saying, Worcestershire sauce isn't usually vegetarian, though? This one was, because I knew CJ was coming.
Thanks. Though, also, I'm not always the strictest when it comes to, like fish stuff being in, like, a Caesar salad. Like, Caesar dressing isn't technically vegetarian, but, like,
right.
That's stuff that I'm usually a little less picky about. I'm just not out here, like, eating a chicken or something, But thank you for looking out anyway, Yellowbirds. I appreciate it. Thought I heard it said CJ's veg. You're correct, and I appreciate looking out, but Jadzia was also looking out for me. Just a whole group of people looking out for me.
We're all looking out for you. You're a, at the very least, a citywide treasure, if not a national one, so we gotta be careful.
Fair enough. But Bowie.
Bowie, yes. Maybe a tri-state area treasure. I think that I could say
That's
that.
fair. I don't know what my impact on Delaware is, but, like...
It's gotta be big.
I hope so.
I just assume. So, Bowie, it was definitely a choice to do the song. When I was coming up for the title, I just did a search for... I just looked at all the space-themed Bowie songs.
Excellent. Good.
And The Prettiest Star has this line in it that just really struck me right in the face, which is one day might as well be someday, you and I will rise up because of what you are. And I was like, well, that's the book.
That's all of it.
That's the book.
Incredible.
So I had to choose that song. It's kind of an obscure, it's not one of his big hits, but it's a beautiful song, and it fits, like I said, fits the book perfectly. So I had to use it. Why David Bowie is in there at all is because, there's two reasons. One, if you'll notice, all the real people that are mentioned in the book are queer of one shade or another, and that was on purpose. And to kind of show that in the world that we live in, there are queer people. We don't think of them as necessarily being queer people, but they are. Like Sally Ride is queer. We don't think of her as the first lesbian in space, but we should. Mm-hmm. Walt Whitman, huge queer beau.
Gay.
Glossed over a lot of the time. And Bowie was my first exposure as a teenager to a very sexy queerness. And it wasn't queerness that was tragic. It wasn't a queerness that was comical. It wasn't a queerness that was like just as good as straight people. It was queerness that was sexy because it was queer. And so that was really important to me growing up. And then not long after discovering Bowie, the movie Velvet Goldmine came out, which was also very important to me growing up. Mm-hmm. So props to all of you who have seen it. If you haven't, go watch that.
I'll have to go watch it.
You haven't watched it.
I know. I'm bad at watching movies in general. I'm still playing a catch up on a lot of stuff.
Owen McGregor plays fake Iggy Pop.
All right, I'm in.
Yeah, that's all anyone has to say.
I was literally saying today that I love Owen McGregor. I was saying this today, this morning, not just a couple of hours ago. But noted. Good to know.
Yeah,
I'll put that on my list.
Jonathan Rhys-Meyers plays fake David Bowie.
Great.
Because he couldn't get the Bowie estate to agree, because the Bowie estate is very, and rightly so, they should be. They're very controlling about who gets to use Bowie songs and lyrics. They wouldn't let us use lyrics for Galaxy the Prettiest Star. DC asked, which was very cool.
That was nice of them.
But there's no, you can't. You can use the song titles, and you can use a little bit of one of the lyrics if you wanted to. And you can have characters listening. So apparently they could have stopped us from having characters listening to the songs. Okay. Which would have been a very different book if I couldn't have used David Bowie. I would have found someone else. I probably would have gone with Janelle Monáe and made it a little more modern.
Yeah.
But there's something I like about referencing David Bowie, because this music that's talked about in this is all the 70s stuff. So that's like 50 years old now. So there's a neat thing about Taylor talking about loving 70s era David Bowie and it being like 50 years old and like a timelessness to the whole project, which I like.
Yeah.
But yeah, they wouldn't let them in Velvet Goldmine use any Bowie songs, so he just said, it's not David Bowie, it's someone else who is also... I mean, yeah, it's great. The cast is great. Christian Bale is in it. If you ever wanted to see Batman and Obi-Wan Kenobi have sex on a rooftop, that's your movie.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, Eddie Izzard's in it too. It's great.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's like the cast is incredible. But back to the book, as opposed to that movie. It is. Yeah, so I had to include the Bowie stuff because that Bowie was very important to me as a teenager. And again, like, I was listening to it in the 90s, so this is still, like, not the era of Bowie record. I wasn't a teenager in the 70s, so it was still me looking back on older stuff. Mm-hmm. So that element still feels true to me. Yeah, Galaxy is full of stuff that I shamelessly took from my own teenagerhood because that's how you write young adult stuff.
Fair enough. Love it. Cool.
Let's move on.
A Yellowbird said, I was strict vegan for almost 10 years, so I still have my head on a swivel about that. Super yeah.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. I am not a very strict vegetarian. I'm not like meat is murder type situation. I'm just kicking it and not eating meat. All right, so the next
one is the Grand Ole Nashville hot sauce. Yeah, just hot sauce. This was a gift from my brother back when he lived in Nashville. We're getting all sort of family references with this. I love it.
That's excellent. Well, there's so much like family stuff when it comes to like cooking and food in general that it's like a pretty inescapable. All right. Sounds good. I remember loving this one last time, and I love it now.
Yeah, it's a little sweet, which is nice. Mm-hmm. That Nashville flavor, not too much hot.
Yeah. All right. Glenn Matchett asks, has Galaxy ever had a crush on a DC superhero?
See, this is a great question, because we don't establish that in the book. She obviously has a feeling about Superman.
Sure.
Because Superman is the... If you were an alien in the DC universe, like, Superman is the one you judge yourself against consciously or unconsciously.
Right.
Yeah,
it's sort of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting idea, right? Because, like, these are real people in the world of the DCU. So I'm gonna make some canon right here.
All right.
I'm gonna say that Galaxy has a crush on Fire. Because,
Hell yeah.
First off, her whole thing is she's hot. Secondly, Brazilian. So, like, what more you need? But yeah, I have always liked the character of Fire. So I don't see why Beatrice DaCosta would not have a legion of followers on her Instagram.
Oh my god, absolutely.
Though Taylor's not a social media girl, so... But I'm sure. That's the most likely, if I was going to say, like, right off the top of my head. That's the most likely. I've tried not to think about these questions in advance, so...
Right, yeah.
I would say Fire. Fire is probably the most likely.
Love that.
So moving on. Maybe also Ice. I mean, they're a package deal.
Fire and Ice.
Like, maybe she's got some fanfic somewhere.
# threesome she wants to be in.
So say we all. Alright, so next we're doing the Bull City Pepper, Good Gracious Green.
Ooh. And I love a green.
This was a gift from my sister. I have...
all the time.
Well, for 2 years now, I have told my family, is like, all I want for Christmas is a bunch of hot sauces from where you live. And they have responded with some really great
Amazing.
options because my sister lives in North Carolina. That's a Durham sauce. And my brother used to live in Nashville, now lives in Los Angeles, which also great hot sauce town. So
Sure. I'll have to find you something from Jersey before I move out of there.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're getting
That's
some
really
actual
good.
heat. Which is nice. I love that we're getting actual heat.
But
Finally.
I love a green heat.
Mhm.
Like, I love the heat that a green brings. And Comics asks, which Justice Leaguer would Galaxy get along with the most?
See, this is tough because so many people have been a part of the Justice League.
Yes! Who isn't in the Justice League at this point?
A lot of people. They all died. So I'm not even sure.
Okay, fair.
Like, there's a new lineup coming up that's actually, people were complaining about it, but I was like, oh, that sounds great. It's like Dr. Light and Harley Quinn and, like, both Blue Beetles and Booster Gold.
The Beatles.
Let's see. Number one with a bullet, I think Booster and Beetle would be very friendly and open to her. I think they would. I don't know if she would get along with them as much, but I think they would like. They're always good with the younger characters, so I could see them like taking over under the wing. But probably Martian Manhunter. I would see her getting along with Martian Manhunter really well. They're both kind of isolated from their homeworlds, but Martian Manhunter has a nice kind of philosophical attitude about it, as opposed to Clark Kent's bordering on outright denial.
Right.
So I would like to. I think that Martian Manhunter and Galaxy would get along really well. I think she would be absolutely tongue-tied in front of Wonder Woman, as we all would be.
Yes. Very.
So, I mean, I would love to see a relationship between those two, but I realistically, I don't see it happening just because, I mean, Galaxy's like 16, so,
Yeah.
like, that's the other thing too, right? These are all adults and she's 16, so.
Yeah.
I don't know how strong a friendship. I think probably Martian Manhunter would be the one.
Amazing. I love it. Shall we proceed? And I'll have to pull up my picture
Oh, all right.
for this because the next one is a Name That Panel.
Right. Instead of Name the
is-
Gram, we're doing Name That Panel.
Yeah, so what it'll be is I have selected... Jadzia was not involved in my selection process.
No, this is
I've
100% a surprise.
I've selected a panel from Galaxy the Prettiest Star, and Jadzia has to, provide context on it. Come out.
Yeah, I do.
Let go.
Yeah, you don't want to overload that one.
No.
Oh, we should tell them what it is. This is
right.
Clark and Hopkins Calibria, which has some dried tomatoes and garlic. This is great on eggs, if anybody,
Noted.
wants a nice spicy breakfast hot sauce.
Excellent. All right.
Which sounds dumb, but like a lot of people do. I'm gonna you go ahead and eat, and I'm gonna put it in my mouth when you show me the panel.
Fair enough.
So we get a full reaction.
Oh, I could see this with eggs for sure.
Yeah. All right.
First panel.
No, that's a good one.
So you can see why it was between that and the You Are Incorrigible one.
That little frowny basketball.
A little frowny basketball. Tell us all about the frowny basketball.
Right. So, Jess Taylor, who drew the book, I actually, we were talking about this. Not that panel specifically, but they're a huge anime fan, as so say we all.
Right, yes.
And so one of the things that they like is when the realistic-ish style of the cartoon is made very animated and silly.
I'm just gonna hold this here for
And there's a lot of great panels of that with the movement of and facial expressions of the characters. But this is the only time that a inanimate object gets a face. And I love it because the basketball is expressing the emotions of the scene, which is like, oh, I don't know about this. This is the scene where I'm not sure which basketball scene this is.
It's the one where she's talking to her friend.
Yes.
I was trying to keep it vague. I didn't know how much you wanted to spoil or not.
I mean, everyone's here probably read the book, right? If you haven't read Galaxy Pretty Star, say so in the chat, but I think everyone's read it. This is when... Ooh, a package. I'm going to explain this and then I'm going to go get the package. But this is when she is trying to mend some bridges with her friend and they are having some trouble realizing it. Yeah. Because she's an alien now, / a trans woman. Someone criticized. Well, criticism is a harsh word. I don't want to say like this is an insult or something, but they said that this story is barely an allegory, which is exactly true.
Yeah, like I guess you didn't like title it Galaxy an allegory. You know. Got your packages?
Got my packages.
Excellent, good job.
Right, well that was part of the point of the book, was to tell, like I wanted her to be trans in metaphor, but also trans in real. Like to be actually trans and metaphorically trans, so that is why it's barely an allegory.
Like, yes! Correct.
Anyway, that's just that basketball is great. It's another one of the many delightful things that Jess put in the book. That was not in the script. I don't want to take any credit for that at all. I did not say, and the basketball has a sad face. That was all them, because they're great. They're a wizard.
Brilliant. All right.
Moving
Good job
on.
naming the panel.
Yeah. So, this is your last one, right?
I mean, we'll see.
Oh.
We'll see how it goes. I said I would do at least one more than I did last time. Last time I got halfway and then called it there.
It's because there's the pineapple one.
Yeah, no, there's one that's got pineapple in it that's motivating me really hard. But also I'm feeling pretty good right now, so I'm like, let's just see how it goes.
So this is one of my favorite sauces. This is the Pleasant Burn Sauce Company. They're OG. They do this in very small batches, and it's just my favorite sauce. I put it on everything.
I sniffed it before, and it was a good sniff. All right. Don't leave.
Love that sauce.
That's really good. I feel like I'm saying that for all of these, but you don't pick a bad hot sauce.
Right, well, I was in charge of picking the sauces.
Right.
I'm not going to have a bad one.
Expert.
Well, thank you.
All right.
Someone did ask, where's the bomb? You don't have the bomb, and that's when I showed the hot sauces. I'm like, yeah, I'm never going to have the bomb. It's never going to be. We can do this 1,000 times. The bomb will not be here.
Do you just not like the taste? Or?
No, it's horrible.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Yeah, it's just heat. It's just heat and chemicals.
Why do that?
And it's like...
Why do that? All right. U-R-U-K-U-D-U-K. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Urukaduk? Sure. Asks, are we right in thinking that Ozma Gap and the telescope are nods to both Princess Ozma, especially with the princess race as a boy bit, and the location of the Greek Bank Observatory's Project Ozma in the NRQZ?
Yes!
Congratulations!
Good catch on both of those.
You did it!
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell a story about a princess hiding out as a human boy and not reference Ozma of Oz.
Oh, I mispronounced it. My
it's
bad.
Okay.
Sorry, nerds.
I could be pronouncing it wrong.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm a nerd. I mispronounce books words all the time because I read them and I didn't say them. Right. So, is it The Wonderful World of Oz? I don't know. It's the second Oz book, for those of you unfamiliar. In the second Oz book, Dorothy is not in it. Instead, we follow a character named Pip. And Pip is a boy that escapes from an evil witch named Mombi and gathers a bunch of lovable characters. If you saw Return to Oz, the movie with Fairuza Balk, a lot of the characters and scenarios in that movie are in The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, or The Wonderful World of Oz. But they don't have Princess Ozma be a boy in that one. It's an interesting storytelling choice, and it has a very interesting element in the end when it's revealed that she's Princess Ozma, and she's there not just as a girl, but as a princess. Mm-hmm. And Ozma comes out and says, essentially to her companions, don't be weird about this. I'm basically the same. And one of them, I think it's the Gump, the head that they reanimate with the magical living powder. Mm-hmm. Those books are so delightfully weird. And he says, but you're different. And in the commentary on the book, the narration's and that was the wisest thing the Gump had ever said, or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting, it's aware of what it's doing, but also this was written in 18 whatever.
Right.
And so it's not about, it's a fun book, but it is not actually a trans story, is right, I guess what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But you can't tell a story about a princess hiding as a boy and not reference that, because that's a touchstone, and it's... so there's a bunch of that in there. There was more, but that was edited out from scenes and things. But, there's a part where Kat has a bunch of Wizard of Oz dolls in her room, and there's a part where Taylor is freaking out, and she's cuddling the Ozma doll. And then... my one regret about this book is that we reference Mombi's Pizza a couple times, and we never actually go there. And I was like, I should have had a scene at Mombi's Pizza. I should have had a scene at Mombi's Pizza.
That'll be the sequel.
Zara
Bamford asked, what story is we talking about?
Oh, I'm not entirely sure. Well, we're talking about my story, and we're talking about the second Oz book, which is the title of which I know I'm getting wrong. It's probably not The Wonderful World of Oz.
Just look up The Wizard of Oz and look up Wizard of Oz 2, The Squeakquel. You'll find it.
Right. Just look at
it'll be there.
Just look at Princess Ozma, and it'll be the first appearance in, and that's the Wizard of Oz story. It was referenced in the second Wicked book.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, not well.
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about the Wicked book in general.
I know you do. That's why I brought it up.
Fair enough.
But yeah, and as far as the radio... okay.
So, yes, unintentional trans rap.
Kind of.
Yep, as Jadzia was saying, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost there. It's clearly not intentional.
Yes.
But it's not bad considering what it's doing. Mm-hmm. Could be better. But, again, it wasn't trying to be. So, how much can we really blame it?
Truly.
The Ozma...
The Marvelous Land of Oz.
Marvelous Land of Oz. Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt. That
no,
that's
like
breaking news.
No, that's great. Thank you, Yellowbirds. That's great. So... the telescope, right. As I said earlier, I was borrowing a lot from my own childhood, and I don't know what it's like to be a teenager in the age of the internet and social media and all that. Mm. I'm probably going to have to do some research.
Yeah, me, I was a teenager during the internet.
Yeah, I will just interview CJ a bunch.
Excellent.
So, I needed to put Taylor, lead character of Galaxy, in a situation where cell phones would not be a thing. A nice way to do that is to put them in the community around the Green Bank Space Telescope, which is something I had in my story fodder note folder for a long time because I read an article about the people who live there, and it's a collection of people who are scientists who work on the telescope. It is also farmers from the surrounding areas. They are also hippies who are trying to lead a non-technological life. They are also people who feel like they have a technological illness, and that being around Wi-Fi and microwaves and all the things that you can't have around a radio telescope is hurting them. So they moved there. And like that's vibrant story fodder. Like there's a lot of things to pull from that. And then when we were thinking about like where would aliens hide out? Where at the spot where everyone's looking outside for aliens, right under the dish. It makes sense. And then the Project Ozma, for those of you who don't know, is them looking for extraterrestrial life. So there was too many meshes to not use that. Like it all fit into place as if I was planning it. We got just in the chat there, Sarah Bamford asked if she has a question for me if we're being taken right now. We're not, because these were all done with Twitter people. But after I eat all the wings, I think I can take a few more questions. Why not?
Sure. So
hold on to it.
Yes.
And then there will be a time. But yeah, I think that answers the thing.
Shall we go
Sharp Eye, the person who asked that.
Indeed. Good eye.
So we're moving on. Do you want to...
I'm going to give this one.
All right.
It might be my last one, but I just...
This is my fault for tempting you with a pineapple lemongrass ginger hot sauce.
Pineapples are my favorite fruit.
This is great. I found this at the beach last time we were there, and I was like, that sounds really good. And it turned out that it is really good.
It is indeed really good. I'm going to do a little. Just a little.
What I love about it is you can really smell the ginger.
Oh, and I'm a sucker for ginger. All right. Thumbs up. I was right. That tastes amazing. Party of One Pod asks, what other pieces of media, good, bad, ugly, or otherwise, were you taking in as you developed Galaxy that you feel like informed the finished work?
One thing I said a lot when I was writing it is like, this is my Fooly Cooly, my FLCL. That anime really influenced the book, and you can see that in that sort of like isolated small town and like having a large structural overwhelming like reminder of that there's more things going on than this town, but at the same time can't do anything about it. So that was a huge influence in that. Mentioned the Bowie songs. Kilo Riley. I listened to a ton of Kilo Riley writing this. And that I think bleeds through in that sort of like isolation. There's a line in their song, A Better Son / Daughter, where it's like, one day I'll get up, I'll be smarter, a better friend and a better daughter or son or whatever. It's a really good song and a really good line, and I'd listen to that song like on repeat over and over listening to this. What's his name? Kurt Weill has a song called Pretty Pimpin', which is officially about kind of depersonalization and like what's the word I'm looking for? Disassociating from yourself. But when I first heard it, I was like, this is about being trans. I was disappointed to find that Kurt Weill is not trans as far as we know. Because I was like, this is about being trans. And so the whole... and there's a thing with talking about looking in the mirror and brushing a stranger's teeth that really informed the opening scene, which a lot of people really responded to, which was great. So like that song played an important part. Also, I listened to the Tune Yards a lot to kind of get that youthful energy going. I mean, I'm an old woman. I say this. I'm not. I'm 41, but I've like, I felt very far from my teenage self when I was starting to write this book, because it was like, it's been a long time since I was a teenager.
Right, yeah.
So I had to like, I dug up old journals, which I found that I had been pondering being trans way back then, and I just repressed it. Because I didn't officially transition until I was 36. Mm-hmm. So, but it was funny to like, I'm going to look back at these journals and see who I was then, and was like, oh, there I am thinking about being trans.
There you go.
So this is where so yeah, I think that's a lot of it. I keep wanting to say comics, and I don't think there was a lot of comics that influenced the writing of this, other than all the comics I've always read throughout my entire life.
Right. Besides everything.
But there wasn't anything specific that was like, I'm going to reread this in order to get the vibe right. Mm-hmm. And even Fooly Cooly, I didn't rewatch it. I just I looked at a lot of screenshots and like worked on vibes, because mm-hmm. I didn't want to steal anything directly.
Right.
But yeah, a Yellowbird says you weren't imagining things about the Fooly Cooly vibes. Absolutely not. It's definitely my Fooly Cooly in all the best ways.
Brilliant. All right. I want to get a quick vibe check, because we're down to the final 3 hot sauces. How you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great.
Fantastic.
Oh man.
Well, you're like the hot sauce queen, so
yeah,
this is like
these are all my personal stash. Yeah. I use all of these except for the Apollo pretty reg. But we're now getting into like the serious, the super hots. So you should not. Yeah,
no, I'm picking from like faves from the last one.
There you go.
Jadzia's taking this journey on her own.
You should absolutely not have any of these, because then you might disassociate in them.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna grab Nashville.
All right, so this is the Adobo Loco Maui Ko Nakoi. This is with a scorpion pepper. This is a nice hot sauce. It's not my favorite. I'm a little burned out on the super hots recently.
No, absolutely, yeah.
And this is nice. It's like it's a more high octane version of the OC, but then if you have the OC, just do that. The OG. It's not bad though. I mean, it's good. It's a good sauce. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get another one down.
A hot sauce fiend you. A Yellowbirds asks, I found the decision to not have the Bane actually show up on page, as far as I saw, an interesting one. What led to that, and can we expect to see them in sequels? Please let there be sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So now we're starting to get into the like, how do I think while my mouth is on fire part? Right, so here's the problem with the vein, is they work as a really great metaphor for an omnipresent threat. But the moment you show the vein, then the story becomes about fighting the vein. When Galaxy was about being afraid of the vein. And so we either need to show them, if we show them, then they either are something that Galaxy can defeat, right? Which we want to see.
Right, yeah.
Which is another story, not one we're telling here. Or they are someone whom the threat was never as bad as imagined. And that seemed like a false thing to do, because they are supposed to be a metaphor for intolerance. So we really couldn't show them without them taking over the story and turning it into something that I didn't want to tell here. Because the whole point is her being afraid of them and the idea of that fear being simultaneously something that she can feel due to the jewel in her heart, but also intangible. And to make it a tangible threat changes the story and makes it different. Late in the script stage, Sarah Miller, who's a great editor, suggested having some stuff with the vein. And the problem is it would have made the book much longer, and we were limited by how many pages that we could do
Right.
For this book. So it's like, I could do that. I could do that story idea that you're saying, but it would be like a 250-page book, which I have no problem writing, but you said not to do that.
Yeah, you were the one who made it illegal.
And she was like, yeah, you're right. So to keep the focus on Galaxy and her internal struggle, we had to take out the external problem. I don't know if that was the best idea. Reading it now, I see ways I could have cheated a little bit and snuck the vein in without completely breaking the idea, but I decided that that wasn't the story I wanted to tell.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if there's going to be sequels. I cannot say, because that is a decision made by people other than me, and they have not let me know where their thought process is.
Yes.
I will tell you that Galaxy is going to be showing up somewhere else. So in between this book and a possible sequel, there will be at least one appearance of Galaxy in someone else's book. I can't tell you where.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
But I would love a sequel. I want to do a sequel. I have nothing but ideas for sequel. I have it all planned out. I have, in my head, this is a 3-volume story. So Galaxy the Prettiest Star takes place in Ozma Gap, which is a very small and insular, and the stakes are very personal. Most of the sequel, which would be Galaxy Ashes to Ashes, takes place in Metropolis, and the stakes are, and we would see the vein there, and the stakes would be much larger, and she would finally get to save the world. I know everybody's waiting for that.
Right, yes.
Me as well.
Nash.
And then Galaxy Looking for Satellites, which would be the third one, which it'd be in space, and involve going back to Ciandi. I don't know if I'll get to tell those stories. I want to. And I have editors who want me to tell them. So
there you go.
I guess it all depends on the sales of the book, and if they think that it's will make them money to do more.
Yeah.
I will say the response to the book has been amazing, and DC is putting a lot of marketing weight behind this, so there is a distinct possibility that we will sell enough books to justify a sequel. When the contract was drawn up, they had me do a design of Galaxy that was ultimately not used because Jess had their own design. It's amazing.
Right, yes.
But they had me do a design of Galaxy, and Michelle Wells, the editor, said, and go ahead and put her in her superhero outfit for books 2 and 3. We had not talked about books 2 and 3 at that point. So that was news to me. So there is definitely, from an editorial standpoint, they do want this to be a success, and they do want it to be a series and a franchise and a meaningful character in the DC universe. But only if fans want it, and only if there's a response. So hopefully is what I can say. I love her. I would love to write her forever. If we don't get a sequel, this book is kind of perfect. I know there's more stories with her I want to tell, obviously, but also if that's the last story, then we kind of have everything we need. But yes, to go back to the original question, the vein will show up in a sequel if we get one. And they have lots of horrible plans. So it'll be fun. The sequel is a little more action-y. I didn't want to have any action in this one. I wanted it all to be very personal and have the drama be very internalized. And we're going to see, now that Taylor has access to her powers, now that she's developed them, because the next one is going to be... I want it to take some time, like a separate time, because I really want them to be in Metropolis for the Metropolis Pride Parade.
Right, yes.
So that'll be in summer. This was in fall.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be almost, almost a year, like 8 months. So she's learned how to be a superhero when Galaxy Ashes to Ashes start. And that lends itself to telling a certain type of story. So she will save the world, if we get it. Spoilers. There will be difficult sacrifices and hopefully some team-ups with some other characters. I have a dream list of who I would like to be in the sequel. I can tell you for free, Ma Hunkel is one of them. Ma Hunkel was supposed to be in this one, but it was decided for many reasons to cut her out. Mainly for pacing, because there was just too many characters. But also I think it reads better not having any other established DC characters in it, because they're supposed to be in this little isolated pocket neighborhood town, far away from Metropolis and Gotham and Central City and all the other big superhero things. And I think to have someone as under the radar as Ma Hunkel is would have changed that. So it was the right call not to have her in this book, but then I want her in the sequel then.
Yes.
Because she's my favorite. All right, I guess we move on.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with...
So this one is the Akamiso. It's a Ghost Reaper hot sauce. I like this because it has rice vinegar in it as the base, but you don't taste miso at all in this thing. It's just ghost pepper and rice vinegar. Now, I like ghost pepper and I like rice vinegar, so that's not a problem for me. But I feel like they should call it something other than Akamiso if you can't taste the miso.
Yeah. All right.
A good healthy helping on that.
As you chew, we had a lot of people, including Hello Librarian and Alex Jaffe, ask what various characters sounded like. So, Dreamcast animated series lightning round.
Okay, give me a minute. I'll be ready.
Gotta chew. Screw that back on a little bit.
How cool would an animated series in Jess's art style be, though? Like,
yeah, no.
It's so awesome. All
All
right.
right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Galaxy.
Hunter Shaver.
Argus.
David Hyde Pierce.
Yes. Cat.
See, now the chili's affecting me. Janelle Monáe, even though she's a little too old for the role, but I do want to meet Janelle Monáe.
Correct. That was the only right answer. Carl.
Jason Mantzoukas. Again, a little old for the role, but I don't care. His voice would be perfect.
Fair enough. Phil.
Ron Perlman.
Okay. Buck.
This is a tough one. See, this is funny because there was an actor who I was thinking of when I was writing Buck stuff, and I even gave them a picture of the face that I was thinking of. Gave it to Jess, and then they did a completely different design, so they no longer look like that actor. So like now there's somebody different. Who's the We Bare Bears guy who voices Grizz? He'd be great.
I don't know.
He's too old too, but like that style of person.
Whoever voices Grizz and We Bare Bears.
Yeah, that guy. We're in a lightning round. I'll look it up later.
And Zinnia. Yeah, Zinnia. Thank you.
Zinnia. What's her name? Is it Michelle Brooks? Maybe. Definitely Brooks is her last name.
Okay.
It's the woman who was tasty in Orange is the New Black. It's not Gwendolyn Brooks. That's a poet. And maybe Michelle Brooks. Anyway, she would be great. I love her and everything she's in. She should be in this.
Fantastic. Danielle Brooks?
Danielle Brooks!
Hey,
thank you.
There you go. And finally, Principal Diggs.
So Principal Diggs was based on imagining what Jack Nicholson would say in this situation. So he was a big thing, but he's ancient now and probably wouldn't do it. So I would want Christian Slater doing his Jack Nicholson impression.
Hell yeah.
Which is great because actually, now that I think it, Pump Up the Volume was an influence on Galaxy the Prettiest Star.
Good.
I watched that movie a lot as a kid because my sister loved Christian Slater. A huge crush. So she would watch that VHS all the time, and I would also watch it with her. That's like the first movie about podcasting. Have you seen it?
I don't know that I have.
Oh, man.
I feel like you've mentioned this to me before.
Yeah. Christian Slater is like a ham radio operator and just like has this like, again, secret identities and hidden lives.
Yeah,
it all falls over. He's in a piece of shit town and he has this ham radio thing and like his dad got it for him so he could talk to his friends back home, but it doesn't broadcast powerfully enough to get there.
Fair enough.
It's wild to watch these movies before the internet and what they were like.
Yes.
But anyway, he like becomes this sort of local legend among teenagers because he just says bullshit like a podcaster.
No, correct.
Correct.
We're both podcasters. This is correct.
Yeah. So that movie, it probably actually formulated before I was a teenager what my idea of teenagers are. And again, I didn't watch it before doing Galaxy, but I feel like there's similar vibes now that I brought up Christian Slater.
Brilliant.
A Yellowbird's asked, who is that for Galaxy? Hunter Schafer, who is very talented actress in Euphoria, which is the show I don't like, but she's amazing.
She's still doing great.
Yeah, she's an amazing job.
Miriam says Eric Edelstein.
Voices Grizz, he would be perfect. He would be perfect for Buck.
Yeah. I'll also say we're approaching the last question. So if folks had questions that they wanted to I know Zara had one that they wanted to, so like this would be a good time with the delay to go ahead and just get that started.
Yeah, because it's the last one, which means we're doing the Apollo, the last dab.
I'm going to do the pineapple boy again.
I never use this sauce except for when we do this.
Fair enough.
It's not a great hot sauce. But it's, it is what it is, right? Like,
Sure.
We advertise. So, like, in the spirit.
I didn't choose mine.
Well, you gotta ask a question, so.
Okay.
Oh, you went back for the pineapple. Nice.
Yes, I did.
I'm impressed you like that, because you were...
Yeah, I honestly would have put this... I would have swapped the order on that a little bit. I personally felt that was
the
a little
OG's hotter. It might be.
Yeah,
it might
it's
be.
close, though.
Like, and also my sense of what's hot and what's not has totally been ruined by all these super hot sauces. But here we go.
Okay. In addition to being an amazing author, podcaster, and overall artiste, you are described by both your wife and your literal child as a terrific mom. The mom friend, in fact. So I'm going to lightning round ask you some questions one might ask a mom and answer them now, please.
Okay, let's do it.
I have a crush on my friend. How can I tell if they like me back or not?
Oh no. The one part of momming I've never been good at. Well, the best thing for you to do is probably make your feelings known. Because keeping that a secret is going to tear you up inside. Fair so enough. You should probably let them know. And then if they do reciprocate, you will know. And if... and if they don't, it may make the friendship a little weird then, but eventually you guys will get back into the rhythm.
Yeah. How do I cure this hangover?
Exercise is the best way, which is the last thing any hangover person wants to
hear.
So if you go running, it will actually clear up your system. Drink lots of fluids. That's another thing. Caffeine also helps.
Can I borrow the car?
Yeah, right.
What are good things to always keep in your bag?
You want to have a first aid kit with Band-Aids and... Ooh, that's hot.
I believe in you.
And sting-free antiseptic wipes. You should always have a knife. It's a good thing to carry a notebook and a pen, just in case you need something to write things down. I always like to carry headphones, too.
How do I cook chicken and with what spices?
Well, that depends on how you want to do it, and if you have a whole chicken or if you have pieces of chicken. If you're going to whole chicken, you do want to spatchcock it, which is very intimidating for people, but let me tell you, once you cut that spine out of the chicken, it's easy peasy. You just cut around the spine with a nice pair of butchering shears. Invest in those because they're very handy and great. Flip the chicken over, break the wishbone so it's nice and flat, and then you spread it out so it looks a little like a face hugger.
Great.
And then that will allow your breast and your thighs to cook at relatively the same time, and you don't have to worry about one drying out while the other one is still cooking. As far as seasonings go, if you get a good chicken, you don't need a whole lot of seasonings. You want to go to a butcher that does free-range chickens that have a vegetarian diet. And if you have like a really healthy chicken, then you don't need any seasonings on it. You just need to put salt and oil on the outside so you get that nice crispy skin. And then you're good. If you want to go super crazy, a barbecue sauce is nice. Sometimes I like to do it gravy, like just a classic chicken broth gravy. But like again, get a nice chicken. You don't need to season it. Unless you're doing something like a curry, and something like that, and then go crazy.
Brilliant. Next question. What do you mean I have to go to bed? I'm not tired.
Yeah, but like, you have school tomorrow, so you are going to want to be alert and ready for that. And I know you're not tired, but you look tired. And so we're going to, please try to go to sleep.
Fair enough. How do I know that it's love that I'm feeling?
Well... If you're asking me that question, you probably already do. Because if you thought it was just like casual friendship, you wouldn't be confusing it with love. So it's probably love.
Fair enough. What's a good skincare routine?
This is actually a better question for my wife, JR Blackwell, because I just use her skincare routine.
Brilliant.
But
so the answer is go ask mom.
Go ask your other mom. But also, the best thing you can do is get some, I think it's called hydro... Hold on, I want to be real about this.
All right, she's getting real. Don't forget, if you want to ask a question, I don't know how many we'll be able to get through, but go ahead and put them in the comments. Jadzia is coming back with the product that she mentioned.
Right, so this is not this, you don't have to get this specific product because they're not sponsoring us or anything.
Yeah, no.
But what you want to get is something that is hyaluronic acid. Which is a moisturizer, and this is the Hydro Boost Neutrogena City Shield. This has got sunscreen in it. You don't have to have sunscreen, but you should wear sunscreen. That's another part of your moisturizer routine. But you get this stuff. This is great for locking in some moisture. I have dry skin patches, so this is really good for like both getting very specific spots, but also in general. If you are a person who shaves, this is great for after you shave to kind of get that moisturizer and stop having razor burn. So, if nothing else, get that stuff. That's my biggest thing. But yeah, moisturizer is really what you need, but you don't have to go crazy with it. If you would like to go crazy with it, there's a lot of great stuff.
Fair enough. And final one. Mom, I'm gay.
That's great. I was worried. The last thing I want to do is raise a straight child. I mean, it's just... I'm not prepared for that. Fortunately, my wife, JR, is bisexual, so she can probably help. But, like...
That's fair. Back when I was in 8th grade, and my mom and I both thought that I was a girl incorrectly. There was a point where...
We've all been there.
Right, yes. There was a point... I was attending GSA meetings, because spoiler alert, but I hadn't come out as anything yet. Like, I didn't know what I was.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, we had just watched a thing about, like, a kid comes out to their parent as gay, and here's how the parents reacted and all that. So out of curiosity, I was like, Mom, if I came out as gay, what would you do? And my mom immediately went, by the way, cis-het mom, as far and wide as I know, went, are you a lesbian? Oh, thank God! And I was like, I don't think I'm a lesbian, but good to know. I am now bi, and also not a woman. Spoiler alert. Brilliant. Thank you for all the mom advice.
No problem. I hope we helped someone.
Yeah, I hope someone out there got helped. All right, let's see some of these questions.
Okay.
Oh, you go.
No, that was great. Hot sauces and wings. I did a good job.
Thank
Thank me for that.
Yeah, no, you were brilliant.
All right, but let's move on.
Zara says, loved Galaxy...
Oh, no, that's Catwoman Core saying this.
But they said, okay, it's Zara here again.
Oh, all right. Excuse me.
I was reading ahead.
You were.
So Zara asked, loved Galaxy the Prettiest Star. It meant a huge amount to me as a trans woman. Was very curious about whether you consider Taylor a trans woman, since it seemed she was AFAB / race a girl on her home planet.
All right, this is something that a lot of people have said, and I do want to address that. I do. First off, full stop. Galaxy is a trans woman. The flag's on the cover. Oh,
it's hard to see. There we go. You can
for a reason. Also, I want to say the editor suggested putting the trans flag on the cover, and they wanted it to be much more subtle. And I was like, "Can we just put it on her shirt?"
Yeah. Get 'em.
And I'm glad that they did. But so Galaxy is a trans woman, full stop. And because she went through male puberty. And like that's something that happened. She's 16. They came 6 years ago. Her puberty was male. So I feel like that qualifies her as a trans woman. That said, I do not say how she was assigned at birth in the book. No one says she was assigned female at birth. Carl refers to her as a princess. We see pictures of her as a child looking with a kind of a page boy haircut.
Sure.
But, like, we don't say that Galaxy was assigned female at birth. She might have been assigned male at birth and had very understanding parents, and it is only when she was taken away from those parents that she was forced into a body that was similar to her gender at birth. That is a possibility. If that helps you see her as a trans woman, by all means take that in.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like that's necessary, and I feel like that she's a trans woman just on the face of it. Yeah. And like again, this is about her learning who she is, and so we don't get to have her say, I identify as trans in Galaxy the Prettiest Star, because it's a different story. I mean, it's the same story, but it's like...
Right.
If we get a sequel, absolutely does she see herself as trans. Absolutely does she identify with trans people. Absolutely. Yeah.
Also, like, it calls into question, like, because, like, the assignment of gender at birth is, like, a social construct thing that, like,
right.
It's at, like, a Western practice for certain and, like, not a global one, but, like, definitely our idea of what it is lives on Earth. So it's, like, possible that, like, nobody was assigning any genders on her planet, and then she comes to Earth and is forced into a specific gender assignment based on, like, physical features and stuff like that. So it's like, that's trans. That's trans. That's very trans. Zara had some strong reactions to all of that, all positive.
Oh, good.
Zara also asked, Miriam asked, in all caps, what is the signature pizza of Ozma Gap?
Well, that's the thing, is like, Mombi's has shitty pizza. That was something I really wanted to do. If we had visited Mombi's, we would have established.
It's shitty.
Just the worst. But everyone
it's
goes
Survivor
there.
pizza.
Everyone goes there just because it's the only pizza place. And even shitty pizza is not great pizza. I will say, Ozma Gap has amazing barbecue. I've decided that. It's like shitty pizza, amazing barbecue. They do a vinegar-based sauce that has like a caramelized onion mash in there with a little bit of mustard. So it's not quite a North Carolina sauce, not quite a South Carolina sauce, but like a mix of the two kind of thing. It's its own thing, and that's so it's great barbecue, shitty pizza. They do a barbecue pizza at Mummy's, it ruins the barbecue. It's horrible. It's just the pizza is just bad. So like I think the signature would probably be an incredibly greasy pepperoni that's like not enough cheese, even though you ordered extra cheese, and that's and it's just not good. Like you could make a better one at home with a frozen one, but
I like the idea of shitty pizza, great barbecue is like the unofficial slogan. Like that's the town slogan of Ozma Gap. Like, yes.
I think they have a barbecue festival. When I was growing up in my rural community, we had a barbecue festival, and it got very big. But at the beginning, it was really just everyone gathering up in the Walmart parking lot the night before and roasting pigs, and then you could have a big barbecue sandwich, very cheap, the next day, and it was a lot of fun. So it's like that, called the meet and greet, let's say. I like that. And so they have a barbecue festival, but yeah, horrible pizza.
Brilliant. And so last question that I see here is, who in the DC universe would you want Galaxy/Taylor to team up with besides Dreamer?
I may definitely want a Dreamer team up. That would be great. I want to see her. I would love to see Mahunkel, as I mentioned earlier. I'd love to see Mahunkel take her under her wing. I love the idea of a non-powered superhero teaching a powered superhero how to deal with things if they're and not lean so much on their powers.
Yes.
I love that dynamic, so I would love to see that. I would love to have her meet up with Superman, because Superman casts such a long shadow in The Prettiest Star, so to have her hang out with Superman and like separate who she thinks Superman is from who Superman actually is would be really interesting. Who else do I want her to hang out with? Those are the ones I've given serious thought to. I'd love to see her tongue-tied around Wonder Woman.
Yes, of course.
That would be fun. For those of you who aren't aware, unlikely, but like I wrote an Alicia Yo story for the DC Pride special that's coming out in like a week. Yes.
Yeah, June's starting like not tomorrow, or not
the day after.
Yeah, the day after.
So I would love for them to to hang out because they are such different characters. I would love to see Alicia be the Batman to Galaxy's Superman, because they are coming at things very differently, especially because Alicia has been trans longer and so has a different feeling of her own identity than Taylor would. So that sort of dynamic would be a lot of fun. I would love to do a scene where Kate Godwin from Rachel Pollack's Doom Patrol just kind of gives some elder advice. My goal with the Alicia stories, if I get to do more of them, is to bring in Kate Godwin as like this elder queer who is ushering in all the babies and helping them out, and so to have that dynamic would be great. I wanted to have Galaxy have a cameo in the Alicia Yo story because you may have seen this when I posted the panel. No, you didn't. Never mind. So this is a spoiler / surprise. The first panel has them leaving, has Alicia leaving the Gotham Trans Wellness Conference, which is of course based on the Philadelphia Trans Wellness Conference, and part of that was to get some Easter eggs of like various trans characters in the background. And so we got Kate, and we got Lee from Supergirl, and we got Victoria October in there, and it's fun to see them. And I wanted Galaxy in there too, and Dead Air's like, no. He's like, Galaxy's next appearance in the DC Universe is going to be a big deal. It's not going to be a cameo in the story. And I was like, fair.
Oh,
Fine.
right. Okay.
Fine. And like, Gotham is Metropolis is a long way from Ozma Gap. Gotham is a super long way from Ozma Gap. So to have her be in Gotham does beggar belief a little bit. So, yeah, those are the characters. Like, I want Galaxy to hang out with every trans person in the DC universe that I can get. That would be great.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that for you. I'm sending those energies into the universe.
Thank you.
To whatever deity or D's are listening.
We'll see how much of that actually happens in my life. But I'm hopeful. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with it. We've been at this for over an hour, and you're still here, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Don't think there's any more questions, so I think we will call it a stream.
Yeah.
Thank you, CJ, for guiding us through this yet again.
Of course, always a pleasure. I love sitting here eating as many hot sauce as I can with you.
I'm impressed that you got as far as you did, because these last two are not mild. Like, this is...
We're growing up.
These are,
We're growing up.
It's
not 2021 anymore.
It's not.
I'm a different hoe than I was then.
So true in so many ways. Thank you all again, and we're going to end the stream.
Yes, end it. Woo!
Great.